I actually really don't know why I played LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. I don't even like ordinary Star Wars The Force Awakens. Being my first experience with this game, I really didn't know what to expect, so naturally, out of fear, I threw the controller at my mum. And then the adventure began. And the beginning of this game is the ending of Return of the Jedi, which made me fear that this entire game was going to be filler. My concern for this game only grew when I realised this version of Chewbacca appears to have joined the IRA. It really didn't take me long to come to terms with the fact that this game was vastly different from the LEGO Star Wars games that I was familiar with playing back in the day, and then I was thrown completely off when the game randomly turned into a cover shooter. Though it's good to see the classic LEGO Star Wars sense of humour still intact, with Emperor Palpatine being more like a giddy paedophile than an evil emperor.
Stan said she was 18, it was on the profile!
Though I don't think I could ever get used to LEGO characters being voice acted rather than just mumbling, so I'm silently praying for iconic Star Wars characters to have a stroke, and we're not even out of the fucking prologue yet. Out of the prologue, the game immediately rubs me the wrong way by placing mandatory puzzles in the hub areas just to play for time. This game is such filler. I don't get why this game exists. They didn't make one for The Last Jedi, they didn't make one for The Rise of Skywalker. Surely it would have made more sense to do that, or at the very least wait until you have a full trilogy before you make a LEGO Star Wars game about them. The end result is this game is just so ridiculously out of place that it's hilarious. And it knows it. It oversaturates its missions with puzzles just to compensate for the fact that there really isn't that much source material. And at the end of every mission you stare at a screen unlocking characters that have never existed in Star Wars. Who the fuck is Ilko Munica, and when will I ever need him? Turns out this is a real inconsequential Star Wars character. However, my point stands. I will say it's always fun to slap the shit out of LEGO Stormtroopers, and the cover shooter aspects, despite being a peculiar wonky choice for this sort of game, is also pretty fun. The spaceflight missions as well are pretty damn entertaining. And then on top of that, the puzzles really do engage your brain, but the issue comes in when you realise you're doing all of this all of the time. You can't really appreciate what you're doing because before you know it, you're doing it again. Anything to make 15 minutes of the movie last an hour in this game, I guess. There are unique moments, and these are always quite refreshing when they come along, but for the most part, it's mind-numbing rinse repeat. So considering I don't like the film that this is based on in the first place, this expanded LEGO version makes me want to take a bath with a toaster. Though I will say the game redeems itself when LEGO Kylo Ren knocks one out into Darth Vader's helmet. That got your attention, didn't it?
Grandfather.
Okay, we're talking about a kid's game and I've officially made far too many adult jokes. This is going to land me on a register, isn't it? It's one thing to play an old kid's game out of nostalgia, but it's another thing to play one that you've never played before as a fully grown man and then explain in court how you walk past a primary school with good intentions. Moving on, this game is not exactly a faithful adaptation of The Force Awakens, and by that I mean the game gives Finn a purpose. It's not a big deal, he has a gas mask, he can walk into gas areas, but it's a positive, I guess. Different types of characters have different roles and can solve different puzzles, so in any mission you've got to lean into the full repertoire of characters at your disposal, which is kind of the bare minimum for a LEGO game, I guess, but at least we're hitting those levels, right? Unfortunately, this only feeds into the exhausting cycle of there always being another roadblock or obstacle before you have time to appreciate just moving through the world spaces, and the result of this is what should be a fun and entertaining switch-off game is just tiring. And it's all because there's not enough content in The Force Awakens to justify its own LEGO Star Wars game, and so the game overcompensates by putting an absurd amount of steps into everything. One of the main missions is literally you just getting resources for the Millennium Falcon to prepare for the final fight, and it's frankly the most boring segment in any LEGO game that I've ever played in my life. The final mission is also spread across like 3 chapters, which I think just goes to show how fucking daft the extent of the filler in this game actually is. It's not terrible. There is unique thrown in the mix, it just doesn't outweigh the repetition, but then again, I'm not entirely sure what I expected. It just is what it is, LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. But what I find especially funny is they have made a 15-hour experience out of a 2-hour movie that makes no sense. And it still makes no sense. It's almost like they wanted to commercialise the new trilogy into transmedia as quickly as possible, and that's probably why we've got a game for The Force Awakens, but we didn't get games for either of the other 2 films in the trilogy, or at least not until now. So if you want my overall thoughts, LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens is a game that exists. Yeah. Can somebody shoot me, please? Thank you. To end on a positive note, however, this game does have character customization. It took me about 6 months to find it, but when I did, I understood the assignment. Create an abomination. and name it Cole. As cool as character customization is, I really don't understand how this is the LEGO game to hold its value. Making this video cost me 25 quid, and thus the only lesson I've actually learnt from this is I need to be sectioned for my own good.